Hello everybody. You've probably wondered after my review of my older camcorder and probably from my unboxing video, I don't know if I made mention of that, you probably want to know what my very first camcorder was like. Well, in this video it's your lucky moment. This was my very first camcorder. You can see how huge it is, and I'm going to put my my second camcorder next to it for comparison size. I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit. Oh yeah, just look at that. This is just huge, and you could say bulky compared to this. Got to get that viewfinder out of the way. Don't want to make too many problems. Yeah, big difference in size. Why is it huge? Well, because it used compact VHS tapes. Now, I no longer have any VHS tapes with me, so I guess I could just show you up an image of a compact VHS tape. And I'm going to have to hook it into the wall because the battery function on this camcorder no longer works. That was one of its minor problems that got to be a big problem later, is sometimes when it charges a battery it ends up overheating it, and kind of warped this one. Now this is huge and just a little bit smaller than my second camcorder. Yeah. See, this could be about the size of a small compact digital point and shoot camera. Now I need to hook this up to kind of show you some stuff. Got to unplug it. This isn't even going to be long enough. Well, I've got a fix for that. We're just going to move it closer to the wall, the camcorder that's recording, of course. And now I think we've got plenty of room. Let's see, let's position this some more. Okay. Draw that and tangle. See, we hook the power connector plug into the camcorder, and here we go. We're going to turn it on, and you can see how much smaller the flip screen is. It's probably about 2.5 inches diagonally wide, at least. I mean, so much smaller. I mean, these days we've got flip video screens that try to get as large as they can on the actual flip enclosure. I don't know what you'd call this flip thing. And as you can see, there's a missing part on this camcorder. It no longer has that viewfinder eye hood, or should I just said hood. It originally had that, and that was sort of a rubbery thing. And so let's turn it on for you, because it still does work. I just don't think it works on batteries anymore. There you go. Let's see. And it's in manual focus mode, and the automatic focus probably doesn't work anymore. Yeah, you can't really tell what this is actually like. Yeah, the power connector is kind of loose now, so it's like I gotta be gentle with it. Now, let's talk about how I got this camcorder. Well, for a long time, ever since I was a little kid, ever since witnessing people using camcorders, although back in the day when I was really young, they used to be really huge and bulky, and in fact, you had to use your shoulder to support them. Because that's just the way it is. I mean, you know, older technology tends to be more bulky and larger anyway. And yeah, my folks even wanted to at least rent a camcorder film us as babies, but that never happened. And now it can happen because of how much we came along. And now you can just buy a basic camcorder for very little money, as low as $100, I bet. And so when I got my first job, which was a paper route, I was thrilled that I'd be actually making my own money, even if it wasn't very much. That was one of the first things I wanted to get, was a camcorder. And I waited months diligently for it until Ma said we could buy one. And I went with this one, I guess because of part of my personality. I like big stuff like this. But I think I somewhat regret buying this, even though it was a very good camcorder and I enjoyed it. It's just that I think if I was a little more observant, I think I would have went with a mini digital video camcorder, because that was, you know, the format. That was the number one format at the time. Over the other formats was digital. Was using digital video tapes, because at this point you can actually hook your camcorder into the computer and, you know, save your videos in the computer. But even if I got a mini digital video camcorder, I think I'd still be limited in what I could do with it, because the computer we had at the time did not have it did not have a DVD drive, and so you'd be kind of limited with that. I mean the disk drive was only a compact disk drive. We could probably would have been able to write at least CDs and view them on our DVD player, which we did have at the time as well. Our very first DVD player since 2004. That's a lot of years ago. And I think the camcorder, and I think if I got such a camcorder like that, it would have a little bit more lasting value, because while I enjoyed this camcorder very much, I kind of was at this point, I felt like it was starting to show age. Like, I want to do more with this camcorder, like be able to copy videos into the computer. And the only way that could be possible would be a digital capture device, which would be a big extra expense. Not really worth it. And so the best we could do is, since we still had a VCR at the time, we still have a VCR. We haven't really completely gone off tapes yet. There was a cassette adapter where you could put the compact VHS tape in, and it would stretch out the physical magnetic tape, and you could play it in a VCR and just enjoy watching your home videos on a good-sized TV. And that I still enjoyed it. And I mean, what attracted me to this camcorder, and this was at the time when Walmart had some pretty awesome display camcorder models, and they kind of suck. They kind of suck now. I mean, they don't have very many cameras, and most of them just don't work anymore. It's just like more like for show, and you can't really get your hands on it. And I mean, now your best bet is to go to Best Buy, where they want you to see everything about the camera, and if it doesn't work, they will work to get it to work for you to see what this camcorder's got to offer. And so with this, it had all these special effects. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down the iris so that we can see the video screen better. So we're going to do that. There we go. And now we're just going to go through these. And the button I pressed was called Digifect, which I guess you could say is short for digital effect. Digital effect. So here we go. We've got sepia. Black and white monotone. So yeah, there's my hand for reference, so that you know it's been black and white. Okay. Blue filter. Red filter. Pretty useless effect there, so barely use that one. Solar, now I thought that was pretty neat, where it's like much lower color resolution, and it's all all banding. Just very basically very low color, which was quite a pretty neat effect I always liked to use in certain videos. And let me think. Let me give you some other references. There's that. Negative positive. I think that's what it's supposed to be. And basically it inverts the video, the color of the video. Pretty neat effect. There, that's easier to see now. Hello. It's spooky, isn't it? Mosaic, very pixely. Pretty neat effect. Stretch, just stretches the video, obviously. Nothing really special about that. Okay. And I also want to say what would also be nice about mini digital video camcorder is you could edit some stuff you didn't like in the video, and you obviously couldn't do it with this camcorder. Pretty much impossible because of it using VHS and no connectivity to the computer whatsoever. But that was okay because nonetheless I still enjoy the camcorder. It was my very first camcorder. And that's one of the reasons why I got it, is it had these effects built in it. Like you had fade, all these transition effects when you started your video, like slide, door, corner, window, scroll, off, and then you had black fader, white fader, mosaic. Oh, very cool transition there. Shutter, slide, and this is the ones I already showed you. Very, very neat effects. Which now you really don't need in today's camcorders. I mean, my camcorder doesn't even have any of these cool transitions that this does, and you really don't need it because you know, you've got those video editing programs that can do all that for you. So yeah, you really don't need it anymore because of video editing. All thanks to video editing. And let's see. Now I want to show you. The cassette eject, or should I say just? Let's see what it says here. Cassette holder. That's what they call it. And this is where you put your compact VHS tape in. Yeah, it's about that size, and it goes in here, and you close it. And basically, how you lock it in is you press this push button. And there you go, it's locked. And here are your controls, obviously, to play videos. And when you're in playback mode, mode selector, manual, automatic, off, charge, and play to play back your videos right on the camera. And I want to show you this Viewfinder. Which, unfortunately, only displayed a black and white image, but I was fine with that, because at least it was easy to see. Because when you're trying to view your filming on a flip LCD screen in sunlight, even when you're not facing the sun, it's just really hard to see. And that's kind of like why I still prefer Viewfinder, even though they're kind of disappearing on today's camcorders. And I'm unfortunate that this that the new camcorder still has a Viewfinder. So I want to show you what this is like. I don't know if I'll be able to show you. See, there it is. And let's bring down the iris a bit. It's not blue, obviously. Just my camcorders are making it like that. Yeah, not all perfect color, obviously. That's why you still need color correction. But there it is. And I could actually remove the eyepiece itself. Oh yeah, look at that. And it's definitely a mini black and white CRT display. Yeah, it's certainly displaying the characteristics of a CRT display. And you can't really see it anymore, it's so tiny. So we're going to put it back on. And you got your zoom rocker lever here, and this multi-function wheel, and this button that switches between manual and auto-focusing. 5-second recording, I haven't used that much. But this is very useful because it'll let you use it for manual focusing. Now let's show you the front. I've never really showed you the front. And look how small the lens thread is, because this actually had a lens thread that I never knew until much later. 40.5 millimeters, so you could add filters and lenses to it, which I never knew and probably wouldn't have cared. And this used to be for the lens cap, so let's get that out of the way. And it actually had a video light, which I could tell was incandescent, and nowadays we just use LEDs for the video light. So we're going to turn that on. Oh, that is blindingly bright. Still very bright. Oh yeah. Actually, I don't think it's incandescent. It'd have to be halogen to be so bright. And the microphone right here. And then unfortunately, the microphone was only mono, so you only got mono sound, and I knew that because you only had a video out composite and a left composite video port, and this is for like connecting to the TV and viewing your videos right from the camcorder. So yeah, it only had mono on it. And let's talk about some other good things about it. Like, for one thing, I've always loved the strap. It was totally comfortable, and even though this thing is considerably huge, though much smaller than today's well, I meant to say is that even though this is much smaller than the camcorders back in my day when I was a little kid, you know, this today would be considered huge, and yet it was totally comfortable in my hand when I was, you know, 15, and still comfortable with me now. And it had a picture stabilizer, which that was another one of my complaints about it. Is while it was effective, you know, when zoomed out, it still wasn't effective when you zoomed in. It was just so hard to keep a stable picture. And yet, I put up with it and still enjoyed the camcorder and enjoyed lots of recording and taking memories, essentially. And would I recommend this? Unless you're a die-hard VHS camcorder fan, I wouldn't recommend it because, you know, I mean, this really doesn't have value anymore. I mean, nowadays you want to upload your videos to the internet, and this is something you really can't do with that. Very limited now by today's standards. But nonetheless, I still enjoyed it. It was my very first camcorder, and so it's still something that's worth talking about as a good memory. Another thing I want to talk about, I also like that this came with a strap. It's something that my new camcorder does not come with, and I wish it would, because, you know, I always have that little fear about, you know, even with my hand firmly tight in the hand strap, I'd be worried that if it fell out, you know, you don't have this strap around your neck to prevent it from falling any further. So I wonder what I can do about that with my new camcorder. So I think that's all I've got to say. Of course, it's got a tripod mount, metal, not plastic like my second camcorder. So I think that's about it. This is Steve out, showing you something that I may not be able to see again. And may regret it not preserving this memory. So that's all I got to say. Camcorder's acting up. Yeah, it's got problems already. Again, this is Steve out, and thanks for watching.